So how to turn cold people from a VSL call funnel completely warm. And when I mean warm, I mean pre-sold, ready to buy from you before they even get on a call. So now, as everybody knows, when it comes to a VSL call funnel, there's going to be some inherent problems, right? So low show rates, low trust. People watch maybe 2 minutes of the video, like the VSL. They fill out a form and they book in a call and then they ghost you. They no-show. Or they show up on the call, but they have no idea who you are or what you do and why they should even care. They're highly, highly skeptical. And that's because the funnel itself doesn't build enough trust. It's hyper transactional. So I want to show you exactly how we fix that, not just for our clients, but for us as well. Because we ran into the same exact problems. We were getting leads, we were getting calls, we were getting applications, but the quality was terrible. Show rates were pretty bad. Close rates was even worse. And we had to completely rethink how we approach this entire funnel. So if you are running a VSL call funnel right now, whether you are a service-based business like an LSP, an agency, or anything else like or you sell anything high tickets, and you're dealing with any of these problems, this video is specifically for you. I'm going to break down the exact changes we made step by step so you can just copy and paste it for your business. Anyways, let's get right into it. So how to turn cold people from a VSL call funnel warm. This is one of the systems that we implemented for ourselves, but also for our clients as well, backed by $87 million of data. These are some of the brands that we worked with, some of the people that we worked with, and some of our case studies as well. If you're a business and you just want more leads, more calls, and more revenue, this video is for you. So here is the agenda for today. What we're going to be covering today is going to be the cold traffic problem. So why VSL funnels, like the leads from VSL call funnels, are ice cold. They are skeptical and they ghost you on your calls, which means you have low show rates. Number two, we're going to talk about the pros and cons for both a call funnel and also a webinar. We run both of them for our clients. So pros and cons and the consistency versus trust. So I'll showcase when to implement what. Number three, the messaging pivots. So for everybody, always go up markets. You want to sound different and you want to give more value than you take. I'll explain that later down the video. And we're going to be talking about the warming system. Landing page overhaul, educational VSL, Instagram setting, and value-based nurture. But I'll showcase real examples for that so you can copy and paste it. And number five, capitalize. You want higher trust, which equates to higher show rates and higher close rates, which means more revenue for your business. So what's the promise of this video? So by the end of the video, I want to make sure you know exactly why cold VSL traffic kills your close rates and burns your sales teams. You got to understand why. Number two, how to rewrite your messaging so you don't sound like everybody else. So I'll give you some real examples that we've incorporated for ourselves too. And the exact landing page, the VSL, and strategy that we are currently using and we are using. And also for our clients too. And also how to collect Instagram handles instead of emails for a 60% response rates. Higher response rates, higher conversations, higher calls confirmed, higher show rates, so more people actually showing up on the call, and also higher close rates because there's trust built within the setting process. And how to capitalize on warm leads to increase your close rate by 2 to 3x. So that is the agenda and that is the promise for this video. All right, let us go. All right, so who is this for? So you are a business owner doing at least $600,000 a year who sells via sales calls, something high tickets. Number two, you're running a VSL funnel, but leads show up ice cold or highly, highly skeptical. Number two, you're struggling with show up rate, like low show rates, low close rates, and also a very high cost per acquisition, or CPA. And you are probably in a saturated market where you sound like everybody else. So let's talk about the problem, the cold traffic problem. So for a VSL call funnel, when it comes to someone seeing your ad for the first time, to them booking a call, that whole process can take maybe around 2 minutes or so, right? They see the video ad, they're vaguely curious. They maybe watch a few seconds, maybe 10%, 20% of the VSL, and they book in a call, right? That can take 1 to 2 minutes. There's zero nurturing. Yeah, you might have retargeting ads. Yeah, you might have email and SMS flows. But if they're not custom, if there's no personalization, there's no human touch elements, that person's most likely not going to show up. That person is most likely not going to consume your emails. Though that person's probably not going to even watch the VSL. That person's still not going to trust you. They're going to show up skeptical if they even show up. You're most likely going to run into show up rate issues. So that is the problem with a VSL call funnel. to make a VSL call funnel work, most people use big bodacious offers on the headline, like guaranteed $1 million in 2 days, or you don't pay. That's gonna get a lot of clicks, but that's not gonna get a lot of people to trust you. All right, so now let's talk about VSL call funnels or call funnels, and also versus webinars. So both work well. We run both for our clients. So, but I want to let you know what are the trade-offs. So when to actually run what. Okay, so for a call funnel, the great thing is it's 24/7. It's hyper consistent, and it's very, very scalable. Like if you want to spend $1,000 every single day for 30 days straight and get that consistency, a call funnel is your bet. But for every single funnel, there's going to be some inherent bottlenecks. For a call funnel, it's usually low trust. People are not consuming enough information about you. Maybe a few minutes at best, which means low trust, cold leads, which means they're highly skeptical. If they're highly skeptical and they don't trust you, they have no reason why, to hop on a call, there's lower show up rates. So not only lead quality or the warmth of the temperature of the lead, but also low show rates as well, which will equate to lower revenue, because lower close rates, lower show rates means less deals closed. So that is the pros and cons for a funnel, for a call funnel. Great thing is the consistency, and you can scale it quite aggressively. Now let's talk about a webinar. Webinars are great, especially if you are in a saturated market. So we run webinars every single week, multiple times a week for our clients, which is great. For a webinar, you are spending 60 to 90 minutes live with hundreds or even thousands of people, depending on the ad spend that you're running with, which is great. You build that relationship with that prospect, higher trust. But that's the pros. So higher trust, higher show rates, higher close rates, because people are already pre-sold. They're watching content about you 60 to 90 minutes. But it's quite risky. I'll give you an example. Why is it risky? But there's pros and cons. I just want to let you know what's the truth. So webinars, we run them quite often, but there are also some risks. So whenever we work with a client that wants to build out a webinar, we let them know the pros and cons. So what are the risks? So for a webinar, you can't run them every single day unless your spend is so high or your organic is very, very large. So for a webinar, what we do, you typically launch them a few days beforehand. I'll give you an example. For a webinar, let's say you have 7 days of ad spend. So you're spending $10,000, $10,000, $10,000. Your budget $70,000 for a webinar. So you're not getting any sales throughout those days. You're going to get sales after the live webinar. So 7 days of spending money, $70,000, but there's no, you're not making any sales. So you're down 70K. But the biggest thing with webinars is you have that huge spike, which is great. That's where you can get 100, 200, 300K days, and it's quite normal if you break down the math. Depends on your ad spend. So that's the pros, right? That's the cons. There's no consistency, but the cons is it's quite risky, right? Let's say you spend $70,000 7 days. $10,000 for 7 days, $70,000 straight. But let's say your Wi-Fi is quite shabby, it's pretty broken for that specific day. Let's say you're traveling. Let's say you're not really tech savvy, so you don't know how to use a webinar for Zoom or a webinar jam, right? You basically lost $70,000 because of that ad spend, because you're not tech savvy, even though you've practiced quite a bit, but you maybe got scared or anything, anxious. Or maybe you just felt ill that day, so how you present yourself across hundreds or thousands of people, it just did not come across as entertaining or educational or edutainment. So people are not going to book in a call because maybe they won't like you, or you're not really good at sales live. You just didn't present the webinar or the master class perfectly on that day, which happens, right? Some people, they just wake up in a bad mood, and that just really messes up. That's going to mess up your stats. There's no consistency there. So there's a huge risk when it comes to the tech side, but not only that, also how you present yourself on the live webinar. But if you can crack both of those things, if you can crack both of those things, like you just have a set place, your Wi-Fi is really good, you're really good live, then webinar is definitely for you. It solves trust. It solves for show rates and also close rates as well. And challenge funnels. This is great. This is where you're spending 3 to 4 days with a prospect, educating them, pitching them, maximum trust. That's a lot of days. So instead of 60 minutes with a prospect, you spend 4 full days with that person, which is great. But the downside is you need a decent sized spend, like at least $100,000 at least, to make it efficient, because there's high friction. There's drop-offs for every single day. But this is maximum trust. So that's the pros and cons for each, right? Throughout the down funnel, like call funnel, webinar, and challenge funnel, it goes down in terms of like your trust will skyrocket the more you go down. So from a webinar to a call funnel, there's more trust with a webinar, there's more trust with a challenge funnel. But the downside there is it's riskier. So that's one thing you have to take into consideration. But if you understand the pros and cons, choose one that fits your personality when it comes to the budget, when it comes to how tech savvy you are, but also how good you are in terms of presenting live, or if you just want something consistent. So all of them work very, very well, but you got to understand the pros and cons because nothing is perfect. All right, so we talked about the problems, but now let's talk about more problems. So when you're running a VSL call funnel, why are the leads skeptical? So in a saturated market, if you sound like everybody else, like the key, like I see a lot of ads of like coaches, consultants, we guarantee $1 million in 2 days. Like you are gonna sound like everybody else, and that is not gonna convert at all, because you have to understand in saturated markets, these people have most likely been burnt by agencies in the past, gurus in the past, and if you sound like a person that has burnt them, like I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm a prospect and I see an ad of like guaranteed $100,000 or you don't pay. And I got burnt once by this specific person that had this specific messaging. If I see this messaging again, guaranteed $200,000 in 14 days or you don't pay, my perception of that person is like, okay, I'm gonna get burnt again. I don't trust this person. Highly, highly skeptical. And it also sounds too good to be true. So the saturated market problem. If you have an ICP callout that sounds like everybody else, you want to remove that because you're going to sound diluted. We guarantee to scale you to $1 million a month. It sounds too good to be true. Obviously, people are going to be highly skeptical. It sounds like more like a BizOp offer, even if you're like B2B. Most people got burnt already if you're in a sophisticated market. So big claims are great, but they will equate to skeptics on your sales calls, so they can even show up. So if there's higher show rates, right? More people are going to click. They're interested on the offer, but lower close rates because people are highly, highly skeptical. Sounds too good to be true. So it's going to be a net negative. So you sound like everybody else, which is not good. So what are the 2 objections to solve? So one of the biggest things that we ran into was, can I see case studies? And another one is, how are you different from everybody else? Because we are a marketing agency. There's millions of marketing agencies out there. So how did we solve these 2 core problems that we've noticed on the sales calls? For the case studies, right? So we're running ads, a video ad to a VSL, and then to a booking page. Obviously, we have a lot of complexities in between, but that's how you simplify it. I wasn't expecting people to actually watch through the VSL to completion. I was not expecting people to go through the YouTube videos or email sequences. So when they hop on the call and they say, it's like, can I see case studies? We had to solve that problem. So I want to showcase how we solved it, because we solved this problem and it increased the amount of trust that we had with every single person that hopped on the call. Higher trust, higher show rates, and higher close rates, which is good. And also one question that we were getting is, how are you different from everybody else? You sound like the person who burnt them the last time, right? Because like a lot of people in my niche is highly sophisticated. They probably worked with an agency in the past, a big guru in the past, and they probably got burnt, which is, how do we solve this? So I want to showcase how we solved it, these 2 bottlenecks. Okay, next is, number 1 is the messaging pivot. We scrapped the messaging on the landing page. So instead of coaches and consultants guarantee XYZ, we went up market. So instead of people that are making, $50,000 a month or anything like that, we just went higher. So instead of coaches and consultants where they were probably making like $5,000, $20,000 a month, we wanted to talk to actual business owners. So we went up market, and I'll show you how we did that. So actually, let me show you the messaging pivot visually so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is our new landing page, our VSL page. Back then, this was a darker landing page, like a darker color, it's like a black, dark blue. And we've noticed for a lot of our clients, any client that has like a white background, typically have like, better metrics. So we wanted A/B test that for ourselves. So on the aesthetic side, we changed it from a dark colorway to a light colorway. We changed the pre-headline from like coaches and consultants to for business owners doing $600,000 a year. And also we changed the headline. Instead of like very direct response of like ICP call out to like coaches, consultants, we guarantee $100,000 in XYZ or we don't pay. Right? That's very, very direct response, and you're gonna sound like everybody else. So my thinking of like how I was re-scripting the whole VSL and how I was changing everything was, how can I give so much value where they don't even need me? How can I give them so much value where it's more beneficial for them to actually be on the page rather than me having their information? So let me give you an example and let me walk you through the psychology. So steal the trust funnel backed by $87 million of ad spend. So I use the word steal because it's a single word instead of copy and paste. Steal, so I'm thinking more about the user in mind, the people landing on the page. I'm thinking that's like, okay, I want them to be as selfish as possible. I want them to keep all this information for themselves. I don't want to ask anything in return. So that's why I use the word steal. Unique mechanism, which is self-explanatory, backed by $87 million of ad spend. I use this $87 million to anchor proof, to lead with trust, lead with proof. And then two, and what I've noticed in a lot of our clients, our partners, and a lot of the sales calls is there's so many reasons why people partner up with us. So I couldn't have it in just one line. So I had like a dynamic text field that it always changes. So improve lead quality, or get more qualified leads, get more qualified calls, lower your CPA, lower your CAC, increase your show rates, increase your lead quality, increase your revenue. So those are different types of reasons why people would want to work with us. So I just said it's like, hell with it. Let me showcase everything, but in a very like modern aesthetic manner that fits well in terms of the landing page. So that's what I had, because for all the partnerships and also the sales calls, it varied. So the post headline, a new funnel breakdown behind generating more qualified leads, qualified calls, and closing high ticket deals in 2026. Mentioning the word new and mentioning the three things that our clients really care about. They just want more qualified leads, qualified calls, and they just want to close things that are high tickets. If it's 4 figures or multiple 5 figures. And also mentioning the date, 2026. So here's my VSL. There's no edits at all. I just edited myself on CapCut. Very simple, very educational. It is roughly around almost 30 minutes long. And I have my Typeform questionnaire flow. And then I made it a long scroll. So I just basically hoarded out when it comes to all the case studies. Trusted by some of the brands that we worked with, the agencies that we worked with, from Amazon, National Debt Relief, Motley Fool, where we're spending $450,000 per month, $500,000 when it comes to deal value, companies that are $45 million a year, $84 million a year, and then also like massive amounts of proof. So it takes like a few minutes to actually go through each one, but for each case study, I give a bit of context as well in terms of how much money was made for that specific client. This landing page was quite custom. And also when you go towards the bottom, it's like need more proof. We have significantly more proof on the thank you page after booking a call, just to leverage like, hey, we have endless amounts of proof. So that's how we solve the problems earlier when it comes to, can I see case studies? And then I'll go more into detail in terms of how are we different from everybody else and how we actually solve that. So that's how we changed the messaging when it comes to the pre-headline, the post headline, the landing page flow. Okay. So now let's talk about the actual VSL. So what I actually said in this VSL, it's like almost 30 minutes long. So the VSL is 100% educational. So I call this the educational no pitch VSL. So 100% educational, there's no pitch, there's no guarantee, there's no CTA. I even tell them the complete opposite. I mentioned, don't even book in a call. Copy this and send it to your CMO or whoever you're working with. So I use reverse psychology, but like it's honestly the truth. I just mentioned like, hey, you don't even have to submit your lead information. You don't even have to book in a call or partner up with us. I just want to showcase what is working and what is not working in 2026 so you can skip the trial and error that's backed by $87 million of data. That's what I say, because this is for sophisticated markets. This is not for the general public. This is not B2C. So what do I even say within the VSL? How does it work? It's 100% educational. It's tactical, very, very tactical, and also long form. So this is for hyper sophisticated markets. So I do the complete opposites, what everybody says. Usually for people that say like, oh, for B2B, for sophisticated markets, like typically they want a shorter VSL, like 4 to 6 minutes. We've tested it, it just did not work well for us. Even if it was like high production, really good lighting, or a lot of animations and all that fancy stuff, that didn't work. What we've noticed for us, like when we've tested so many times, like, you know, off the cuff, no scripts, no edits, or just Geon edits where I just remove the blank spaces because sometimes I don't know what to say, or like my brain just goes wherever. But I digress. Made a long scroll, long video, so it's hyper educational. Okay, number 2. So what did I say in the VSL? There was zero pitch, there's zero guarantee, there's zero CTA. I just mentioned you can copy and paste this for yourself. You don't even have to book in a call, you don't even have to submit a lead, you don't even have to work with us. I just try to give them as much value as possible without asking anything in return. And I even pushed them away. So reverse psychology, I didn't really know it was like reverse psychology. I just like wanted to just give them as much value as possible. I even mentioned like send this to your CMO or whoever like manages your marketing so you can implement this yourself. But also within a long technical VSL, I showcase trust, or I built trust within that prospect because of technical knowledge. So there's 2 main ways to build trust within 2026. The first way is through case studies, which is very, very easy to do. The second thing is going to be technical, unique, valuable information, technical knowledge of how to solve that, you know, your prospect or your buyer's problem with your specific solution. That's exactly what I showcased within the VSL. So not only I built trust showcasing like all the case studies, like 100 plus case studies, but also technical knowledge of how to solve their problem. So if you prove you know your stuff, that's the pitch. All right, so why does this work for a sophisticated market? You have to understand there's going to be like a few things to keep in mind. Trust, your expertise, the value that you provide, urgency in the CTA. I removed the CTA completely. The urgency, I didn't even have any urgency. I didn't say like, you know, 2 days left, 2 spots left. I focused more of my time on trust, showcasing my expertise, like my knowledge in the space, and also value. So the paradox of pushing people away. Rich, sophisticated buyers can implement everything you teach, which is great. You can give them everything. But when it comes to actually being like an expert or like knowing your stuff, you understand that there's an endless amount of possibilities, but also decision making that is so nuanced that even if you try to give them, you know, 12 hours of information for them to consume, it's very hard to retain all that information. But there's more than that, probably like years of experience, and you can't just condense it into like a simple 30-minute video. So there's more and more information. But also what rich people really want is they want their time back. They don't want to just like keep learning or like watch YouTube videos. They actually want to focus on their business, not the nitty gritty in terms of the decision-making process on marketing. That's why they hire us. Give them everything. They'll pay for your time. That's what they want. They'll pay for your time and also the results, but showcasing your expertise of like the how and also your case studies is the reason why they pay for us, for you. Okay, so let's talk about the landing page. Before, like how else did we solve the core problems in terms of increasing massive amounts of trust? When solving for trust, you increase the show rates and you also increase the close rates. So let's talk about the before and after. So what we were doing before. Before we just had a generic headline, we had a VSL, we had a type form questionnaire flow, right? So just short scroll. So we had like pre-headline, headline, black colorway, we had the VSL, and then we had the application here, and that's it. There's no long scroll. So nothing below, zero proof, zero trust. We had the proof within the VSL, but most people were not even watching the VSL. But that's what most funnels look like, call funnels. So if you are in a sophisticated market, I would highly recommend this because it's working very well for us. We changed from a short scroll to a long scroll. We changed from a short VSL video to a longer VSL video. We changed it from, you know, like hyper animated video to a hyper educational video that pushed people away, that gave them so much value, technical knowledge that they can actually implement for themselves. All right, so let's talk about the long scroll LP. So it was a value-based curiosity, steal, the trust funnel backed by $87 million of ad spend, plus dynamic rotating benefits, which I showcased. It's an educational no-pitch VSL, something I just call long form, tactical, teaches everything, zero CTA inside the video. 115 plus detailed case studies. So each case study that we have, that we provided, had an individual breakdown. And that's just some of the case studies that we have. Some. Not just logos, not only from people that are $45 million a year, but also $500 million per year. Lighter colorway, this is very small, but we've tested this out for a lot. White, light colorway, higher trust compared to dark themes, and a variety of proof as well. People that are spending $50 a day to people who are spending $600,000 a month. Small brands, medium brands, big brands, everybody. So we wanted to give as much value as possible. So that's what we changed on the landing page. But not only that, one thing that no one is really implementing. Yeah, I didn't get this from anybody. Like, I had to learn from my own mistakes. Okay, so let me explain. Let me explain it first. So Instagram first lead capture. So when it comes to like a lead form, let me give you an example. So when you hop on a VSL, like a landing page, you typically have like an opt-in, right? You put in your name, email, and phone number. That's cool. Or you have like a type form questionnaire. You have like a few questions, and you put in your name, email, and phone number. What we've noticed, because like we have a lot of data, like we work with some clients where they have 100 or 200 accounts, like really, really big people in this space. And we've noticed one thing when they're using like opt-ins or lead forms is they get a lot of leads, but most of those people don't even show up. Most of those people, they don't even pick up their phone. The response rate is very, very low. So what I've noticed is like, I started collecting Instagram handles because my Instagram page, like I post quite frequently. So there's a heartbeat, which is good. But it matches my personality because it's very easy for me to set, right? It's very easy for me to send voice notes, selfie videos on Instagram, to spam like their profiles, to send over some specific reels that I created. It's very personal. Like I can send selfie videos, some GIFs, some memes that I see that they might like. So I collect the Instagram handle and not the name, email, and phone number. So if you go through my VSL, I don't collect their name, their email, or phone number before they book in a call. Obviously, when they book in a call, yeah, they're going to submit it. But before the call, like I don't collect any of that. I just collect the Instagram. Because there's a 60% response rate from cold leads if they're from Instagram. They see your face compared to just texting them manually, like an opt-in. Active Instagram page, personal touch. But also if you message them, they respond to you, they might see your organic content. And also there's a major drop off when you ask for name, email, and phone number. So not only it increased the amount of calls that we had, but it also increased the amount of show rates that we had because you build so much trust when you're conversing them on Instagram, like DM setting, even with like a hybrid call funnel. So that's why we recommend Instagram first lead capture if you have a Instagram page. For clients that do not post on Instagram, we would recommend them to post on Instagram. And then once they have like enough followers or enough activity, then we transition away from like name, email, and phone number to asking for their Instagram handle. Okay, so when it comes to like setting, this is very important because like this is one of the biggest ways to actually improve trust. So what is the manual setting strategy? What do I do when it comes to all the leads that come through? So for most people, when they set is when a lead comes through your funnel and then you reach out to them. That's basically setting. You reach out to the prospect. Most people reach out, like they have automated SMS, automated emails, but it's not personalized. It's hyper generic, and the first message is probably like, "Hey, thanks for booking a call. Your call time is at tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Are you gonna make it?" Right? So it's very annoying. It sounds like a robot. And it's very selfish of you to just ask. So how do I set? When a lead comes through the funnel, and I know that they are like financially qualified, they're like a solid lead, I reach out to them on Instagram. I just say, it's like, hey, like I'm very casual. It's like I'm talking to a friend or a family member. So I say, hey, with like a lot of Y's, or like, yo, it's Gian here. Or like, hey, I say their name. So it's like, hey, what's good, Rob? It's Gian here. I noticed that you submitted an app, not an application, an app. More casual. Then I use like an emoji, like a heart emoji or something. And then I send that as the first message, so it's short and sweet. Then my second message is like, hey, if you have any marketing questions, feel free to ask them my way. I'm here to help. I'll send over any voice notes or selfie videos of anything you need. I'll create even content for you if you need. So I always lead with value. And then their message is always going to be different. So I can lead the conversation in a different way. But I got to make sure that when setting, I never remind them. It's all giving them value, 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 value. But I also, within the setting process, I always try to extrapolate what's their pain right now. Like, what have they tried? Like, who has burnt them in the past? How did they get burnt in the past? What are some bottlenecks that they're currently experiencing? Just to have an idea of like how painful it is for them right now. So that is my manual setting strategy. So it's hyper custom. I always lead with value. There's no reminders, right? When it comes to reminders, you can have that for the first email. But when it comes to like messaging your leads, SMS, WhatsApp, or Instagram, don't do reminders. Always lead with value. Not only that, value-based nurture. So after they respond, give them tactical and actual advice. For me, I send voice notes, selfie videos, paragraphs of tactical information. Give so much that they don't need you. That's my mythology. I give them so much value. Because sophisticated buyers, they want their time back. That's why they hire you. But also when it comes to like a nurturing conversation, when a lead messages, so everything is custom. So when they respond, I just slightly reiterate what they say. Not of like the messaging from how to win friends and influence others, but like just showcase that you're actually taking notes and you're actually listening to the prospect. Be empathetic, right? If they got burnt by an agency in the past, just say it's like, damn, that really sucks, man. Like a lot of our clients have been burnt in the past, like who burnt you? And then they name drop and I'm like, yeah, like, you know, some of our clients got burnt by that person as well. But also ask about their current bottlenecks and give real tactical advice and give so much value that they don't even need you. When it comes to the email sequences, this is something we've changed as well. We just had the first email as a confirmation, but value dense. Each link within our emails is a custom landing page. It's a video from a mastermind that I gave a presentation to, or like a keynote that I presented to, or a free resource, full custom landing page. Like I'll give you an example. This is a custom landing page, basically a book that we created for our clients. So this is like a blueprint, and this has a table of contents, but it's like around 15 pages or so. So it's hyper like custom. So this is all like 15 pages, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 15, and then always to book in a call. So these are the value assets that we build out for our clients. And it really helps in terms of giving value and building enough trust. Ooh, another one is gonna be the thank you pages as well. So since we got an objection of like, what makes you different from everybody else? We actually created a few things on the thank you page, and I want to showcase that. But to give you a TLDR, FAQ videos answering top objections, client video testimonials, pre-call framing video, urgency, and also a thank you page. It's just like the trust machine. So when they book in a call, that's like one of the last steps that they actually see. So here's how our thank you page looks like. One last step, your call is not confirmed yet. Step number 1, so 39 seconds, it just how to actually click on the button of like confirming. Step number 2, so what do we actually do for our clients? This is one question that we typically get. It's like, what's a partnership would you guys like? And I just created like a 12-minute, very detailed breakdown from like financial projections. What do we actually build out day 0 to day 30 of like what we do? Some questions that we get asked, partners that we've transformed their business, people and brands that we worked with, and also more case studies. A lot more case studies. It takes a few minutes to actually go through everything. So that's how we changed our thank you page, just to give so much value and build enough trust. So what's the result? So cold, warm, and pre-sold. So when you warm leads properly, your show rates increases, right? People trust you. Like let's say you're having a conversation, a micro relationship within one of the settings side, like on DM. When people like you, they know you, they like you enough to even show up on the call. Your close rate's 2 to 3x because they actually trust you and they like you. And your cost per acquisition drops. You've built a mini micro relationship before the call even happens. So the recap, messaging, we just went up markets. Curiosity based, we changed the headline of the VSL. Value driven headlines. Landing pages, we changed it from a short scroll to a long scroll. 115 plus case studies, that's just some of the people that we work with. Changed the colorway. The VSL, we changed it to an educational no pitch, reverse CTA, send this to your CMO. Setting, Instagram first, manual, conversational, get a response, give real tactical advice. Email, 0 reminders, all value-based, keynotes, free landing pages, cold, warm, pre-sold, and that is the system. So that is how you get, for a VSL call funnel, how to get cold, ice cold, skeptical people to warm. You just have to know your stuff. You have to be very tactical. You have to give as much value as possible, showcase a lot of proof. So if you want next steps, we partner with companies and we just take over their entire marketing departments. Everything completely bespoke and custom built around your business. Just TLDR, we just make you a lot more money. And these are some of the people that we worked with. Anyways, this video was very, very fun to make. It's TLDR is how to turn cold people from a VSL call funnel warm. Anyways, much love guys, and talk soon. Bye.